So major practice in America, you can what we're seeing is that you can see that the imprint on your DNA. So if you were to go out and do a DNA test and you start to have matches in these areas where they have these breeding farms, well, now you know, right? Now you know. All right. So in this reference, let's see what we're looking at. Yeah, this reference we may end up skipping this one. I was actually sharing this with Morey Josh, because he had gone over at some point in time about the colonists were eating the Negroes, right? They were believe it or not. I mean, there was some. I think he called like the Delectable Negro was one of the books that he brought out. The Delectable Negro. So if you get a chance, go and look that up, right? And this was just one of those weird references where you just come across it and you're like, what is it talking about, right? And so after a ship comes into Barbados, and the plantation owners, they get the provisions, they buy the provisions from the ships. So then the plantation owners, they start bartering with each other, right? And this is one of those cases where they're bartering with each other. Let's read it. It says, "Neighbor, I hear you have lately bought good store of servants out of the last ship that came from England. And I hear withal that you want provisions. Well, I have great want of a woman servant, and would be glad to make an exchange, if you will let me have some of your woman's flesh. You shall have some of my hog's flesh." So the price was set a groat a pound for the hog's flesh, and sixpence for the woman's flesh. It says the scales were set up, and the planter, he had a maid that was extremely fat and lazy and good for nothing. And so that was the one that he was selling over to this man that wanted woman's flesh, right? And like I said, it's just one of those interesting references. You come across, it just makes you scratch your head. Like, did they just say what I think they said? Right. All right. So the love of money. All right. So these references, I just want to show you real quick about, some of the money that they were bringing in Barbados, and why Barbados was one of the most, or it was actually the most profitable sugar plantation in the world. Well, one, when they were providing for their Negroes, their slaves, you can see here they were saying, or they were trying to track how much it cost to keep them. And one of the things that they provided for them was pants. So they gave them 3 pairs of pants a year. So when they went out and worked in the sugar canes, part of their uniform, right? Part of their uniform was they had 3 pairs of pants that they had a year, right? And then in addition to that, when you take a look at the bottom line, you can see that once they subtract the expenses, so they had brought in like $8,000 dollars, which is a lot back then, but they cleared $7,000, $7,000 plus dollars after they paid all their expenses. So it was a very, very lucrative business, right? Very lucrative business. Okay, and then I think this is probably our getting close to our last